What did happen this week?
You didn't hear what happened this week?
Was it the blackface thing?
Yeah, we're just out here asking people the reaction to the brown face and the blackface the Prime Minister did. Do you think it's racist? Does it change your mind about him at all?
Well, I would have never voted for him in the first place. I totally think he's immature, and these things he should have known about before he decided to get into politics, and his handlers should have seen this all in the first place. I don't think he's racist, and I also believe that forgiveness is something that can happen. People can forgive all kinds of celebrities and things. I get it. You made a mistake in your past, but this is stupid. He should have known.
Especially given that it's been like at least 3 times, because he says he doesn't know how many times he's done it outside of the 3 times we know about.
See, that's ridiculous. I mean, you know, more things are going to start coming out. I mean, 3 times. He was a school teacher, for God's sakes. I mean, what kind of message is that? And then he sits here and tells you all these things that basically it's so.
That was going to be my next question. Given that he's really pushed diversity and equality, which there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I think it's fantastic. He should be pushing that. Anybody should be pushing that.
Yeah. Do you think that's expected or more unexpected of a person who's pushing that for them to actually been guilty of things that they would criticize?
I'm sorry, ask the question again.
Do you think you would have expected this from him less, or is it more kind of like ironic that he's a person who's been pushing all this stuff, but he's actually guilty of the things that he would be critical of?
I'm not surprised, because I don't think he even remembers what he does the day before.
Just one question about the Prime Minister.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, okay. Can I sit on the rock with you?
Sure.
Have you heard everything that's happened with the Prime Minister this week?
No, I don't follow the news.
Okay, so I'm about to blow the lid off your head right now.
Oh, really?
So, in 2001, Justin Trudeau dressed in brown face or blackface as part of a theme party he went to.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh.
And then there's been 2 other times he's done it. In the past, he's dressed in full blackface. In one instance, he sang a song on stage as a black man. And then another time, he was at some sort of event walking around singing and smiling in blackface. So there's been at least 3 times he's done it.
Okay.
And then the other day he came out and apologized for it and said it was because he didn't, he was unable to see that it was racist because of his layers of privilege that he has.
Yeah,
Do you have any reaction to
racist.
that?
That sounds really racist. I didn't know he did that. Like, I always thought he was not racist. So yeah, I don't think I'll vote Liberal.
You think that alone just makes him racist?
Yeah. Pretty much, like.
Well, what he would say is,
I'm not a big like politic person, but like I've never been one for racism, and like I'm not a big Trump fan. Sorry for bringing the U.S. politics up, but yeah, that's my opinion. I'm not voting Liberal, anyways. I never did vote Liberal, not to like share my like political thoughts. But
go ahead. Do you want to tell us who you're planning on voting for?
I vote NDP all the time because like I'm always in the middle. I just like.
You think NDP's in the middle, or you mean in between,
like in between like
parties?
In between like both sides of like yeah.
So you don't like the Liberals, you don't like the Conservatives,
No,
so
I
you go
just,
for
like,
them.
I go for them. Yeah, I go in the middle.
What about the Green Party?
That's my best though.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, have a good day. Thank you. Let's go through the middle.
Oh, I heard about that a little bit.
Do you have a comment on that?
I mean,
What did you hear that happened?
I had a friend who was posting on her like Snapchat her Instagram story about it, and I didn't really read it because I was swiping through it, but just the idea that a prime minister is doing that is a little stupid.
It happened in 2001. He dressed up for a party that was themed Arabian Nights, and he was supposed to be dressed as Aladdin.
Okay.
But he was way darker than Aladdin was the thing. And then it came out that there's 2 other times where he's done blackface. One time where he was doing full-blown blackface and singing on stage, and then another time where he was dressed as in some sort of character walking around and making funny faces. So I'm not sure what those were, but there's been at least 3 times, and he has either confirmed or denied if there's been more times than that.
Huh. And was that recently, or was that all in the past?
They were all in the past. So the most recent one is 2001 when he was a drama teacher at a private school.
Okay. Well, a drama teacher in a private school should never be doing that anyway, because that's showing bad representation for the kids. In general, I don't think that's a smart move, especially if you're going to be a prime minister, just because anything that you do in the past can come to bite you back in the future. So that wasn't smart.
Do you think that makes him racist at all, or does it depend more on the person?
I don't say specifically racist. I think it's more so just the time, because and not so much it was common back then, but like it was a thing that people did, so people probably thought it was more okay than we do nowadays.
Okay, looks like the bus is packing up. I'll ask you one more question. Do you think that the outrage that we're seeing, because there's been a lot of people on both sides of the political aisle becoming outraged about this, do you think that a lot of it is legitimate, or do you think people are just trying to play the outrage role of being offended and because they don't like the Prime Minister?
I would say about half and half, because there's a lot of people who don't like the Prime Minister, but a lot of people, I think, they have the right to be outraged because he shouldn't be doing that.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Have a good day.
Have a great day as well.
He's more interested in his selfies. He's more interested in his own. He's made Canada his personal image, or his brand, and I just think it's ridiculous.
Is there any policies or anything he said that you really can get behind, or are you just completely against? Are you ready to vote him out?
I was ready to vote him out before he got in there, but I don't know. Just about everything that comes out of his mouth seems to be a lie. And the fact that, he just even goes with the whole thing that he's such a feminist. I just think he's a faux feminist. He says things, and then if it doesn't suit him, he says, "Oh, they don't remember it correctly how I did it." Or like that girl, I think it was in 2001.
The one that he grabbed in
yes.
the newspaper story, yeah.
Just that alone, the way he says it went and the way they say it went, it's like, you're getting me all riled up.
That's fine. That's what we like here. All right. Anything else you want to add?
I don't know. Just
You want to tell us who you're voting for?
yeah, I'm voting Conservatives.
Okay. Any reason why?
You know what? Honestly, I used to be a liberal. When I was younger, I was a liberal. But it's just the way things have been going. Everything is so skewed to the left or right now. And I'm not conservative in the sense that, you do what you want to do in your house. I don't care what you do. It's just money-wise. Stop spending our money on crap. That's basically it.
I think a lot of people would agree with you who watch my kind of stuff. All right. Thanks a lot, man. Have you seen everything that's happened this week?
I haven't really.
Haven't really? Want me to explain a little bit to you? So in 2001, he wore dark skin makeup to an Arabian Nights themed party. So he's playing Aladdin, even though he was way darker than Aladdin. And then he's also dressed up as a black guy. It would look like at an amusement park or some other party for his school. And then the third one we know about is that he did complete blackface and sang that song that says, "Daylight come and me want to go home." So he sang that song in blackface on stage. And so it's all been part of like drama school and his teaching and everything. So that's the controversy he's in now. Now that you're all caught up, he also said that he's not sure if there's other instances out there. He would not say if that's the only 3 times that he's done it. Do you have an opinion on that? Do you think that makes him racist? How do you feel about that?
It's certainly not in good taste at all. Yeah, I would say it's difficult to make a comment about like his character out of that, especially since he's already been Prime Minister for 4 years. So how come this didn't come up earlier?
From what I've heard is somebody brought the person who went to school with him or was affiliated with the school that he was teaching at, gave it to Time magazine a few months ago, and they've been trying to verify it. And then coming up with the election, the Liberal Party actually confirmed it. And then the Conservatives also had the other videotape of him. So then once the first thing gets put out, then everybody starts putting out what they have, showing their cards. So I'm guessing that they knew about it, and then people were just holding it in their pocket until the election, that sort of situation.
Yeah, and I would say like that's kind of underhanded when you're just using it to really disgrace someone else. It doesn't reflect well on anyone who's either been holding on to these videos or who is using them for their own personal gain, but it certainly doesn't look good on him either.
Yeah. So today we're just getting people's reactions about the Prime Minister doing blackface, brownface, whatever you want to call it. Did you have an immediate reaction to that?
I definitely thought it was offensive, and I think it's gonna hurt the upcoming election. But yeah, it's definitely not appropriate. And the fact that he was, not even a kid when he did it, he was like 29, and I think he has I know he's apologized and stuff, but it's definitely gonna hurt him, I think.
Do you buy the apology?
Well, I think he's definitely more honest than someone like Andrew Scheer, I think. But something's better than nothing, and I guess everyone does make mistakes, but...
Do they make that mistake, though?
No, not as big, not as big.
3 times as well? Are you aware that's 3
yeah,
times at least?
Yeah, it was several times, too. Yeah.
So do you think this makes him racist at all? I don't personally. I guess I could see if somebody arguing the other side that since he's done it so many times.
I wouldn't say he was racist, but I think he had poor judgment, and maybe he didn't have the right friends to tell him, this isn't good idea, maybe you shouldn't do this.
Well, how do you react to the fact that in the latest one, the one at the party dressing as Aladdin, that there were what I think were a couple of Sikh guys who were taking pictures with him? They didn't seem to have a problem with it.
They didn't. And it's possible that they didn't know like the effects of that, or maybe it wasn't such a big deal back then. Because I do know that blackface it's kind of
It's always like
it's always been an issue, but I think it's coming to light more nowadays, and like it was an issue in the past as well. But yeah,
I don't know. In 2001, I think people still knew that blackface was like. People just weren't as offended by it. They still knew that it wasn't like a good thing to do. Like there was still the movie like White Chicks and everything at the same time, and it's a different situation when you're going from like black to white. But I just don't think that people, knowing that if it's supposed to be a joke, I don't think they would have been offended by that. Circling back to today, do you think that the outrage people are showing is contrived? Do you think it's legitimate, or do you think it's 50-50?
I think it's legit, definitely. Yeah, I mean, people obviously deserve to be offended. Yeah, because it is a big issue nowadays as well. Racism in general, I think people are speaking up about it more nowadays. Yeah.
The last question I'll ask you is, given that he's been such a super pro-diversity prime minister and everything, do you think it's ironic that this happened to him, or do you expect it from somebody like that? That the other side would be, he's obviously trying to cover up for that, or do you think something differently?
It is a little bit ironic because he has always been so involved in the whole diversity thing. He's really, you could say, his platform's really also like based on that, but it's definitely ironic. But yeah, I guess everyone does make mistakes. The thing is, I hope he doesn't obviously do anything like this again. But I think a lot of people did like lose trust in him. Like I know friends who like were so into the whole Liberal Party and everything and supported him, but now they're like questioning themselves and their loyalties again.
Do you think that's a good thing, that people aren't like 100% all in on a political party no matter what, and that maybe that they'll start to explore maybe other sides of opinions or anything? Because I don't think you can just outright trust anyone or 100% agree with anyone. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, I think you have to be educated. You have to know, you have to know everything about, you can't just trust someone 100%. Mm-hmm. It is politics, So, yeah, I think it's definitely really important to be open-minded. Even when I'm gonna vote this year, I'm gonna make sure I do my research. I've already kind of started, and yeah, you have to be open-minded.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
Vote. Make sure you vote. That's it.
Great PSA here. Make sure that you vote.
Yeah. So I'm Andrew's camera guy. I don't know. I think that yeah, he did it a long time ago, and different time. We evolve as people. We move forward, and now even then, I think it was probably quite clear that doing blackface isn't something that you should be doing. But I don't think that it makes him racist or anything like that, no. But it definitely was a really stupid thing for him to have done, and it doesn't play well into his hand that he's shown everyone when it comes to diversity and everything like that. Yeah, I think it was just a stupid decision, and that he's not really racist for it, but the fact that he did do it multiple times, probably more than 3, because he obviously denied it before, that there was a clear and conscious decision as time moved along, and he kept doing it. But Andrew's also pointed out that he's in pictures with what appear to be Indian guys, and they don't seem upset by it at all. But yeah, I think with the modern times and our social structure, that it was probably a pretty poor decision, and somebody with his political power, especially being the Prime Minister of Canada, really dumb decision. But I don't think it makes him racist. I think it makes him just an idiot. But just my biggest gripe with Trudeau is that he's not doing what he should be doing, and the balance isn't gonna, or the budget isn't going to balance itself. I think that he was too young and he's an idiot. I don't think he's a racist or there should be any like crazy outrage on the left or the right. It was just an idiotic mistake when he was a kid. We all do it.
Horn, please. It says horn, please. Love, eat. I love eat. Personally, if I had to go by the mantra of love, eat, yeah, sure, Taco Bell I love. McDonald's I love. You know what I don't love? Burger King. If you eat a triple Whopper, I will be impressed. Nobody can eat a triple Whopper. It's full of slop. It's full of garbage. I don't particularly like Burger King's fries. I don't dislike their fries. Too much mayonnaise is what it is, people. Well, the guy who handed the yearbook over, which is what they had the photos in, said that he thought it was important for everyone to know about, which is pretty convenient given the time and everything. I don't believe that, but that's just my personal opinion. Now, does this come to you as ironic or unexpected, given how pro-diversity the Prime Minister is?
Maybe slightly surprising, but I would say at the same time, sure, some of his platform has been about diversity, and I've appreciated the fact that he has included people who are actually qualified for many of the different positions. But I would say the last election cycle, most of his platform was centered around cannabis use, and so legalization of cannabis was an apparently very important issue, but none of the other issues I would say are maybe more useful have actually been passed.
That's what I've heard a lot of from people who are lean left politically, is that he spoke about putting forth a lot of initiatives and he's sort of gotten away from that the further and further along he's been in power. Whereas like when he first came into office, he was very pro-diversity and LGBT and all those sorts of things that come with it, but then he's sort of gotten away from it, going I won't use the word pandering, but going towards the general audience as opposed to what he originally promised to do. And that's including balancing the budget, which is something he doesn't seem to want to do either.
No, at this point it's too late, so...
That's fair. All right, so anything else you want to add on the whole controversy?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thanks a lot. I encourage you to go look at it. It's pretty ridiculous, but other than that, I don't think he's racist for doing this. I just think it was probably bad decisions. He's a drama teacher. He wants to dress up all the time and be funny and stuff, and it turns out he's got a weird thing about doing that, I think.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a good day.
You too.
Having said that, if I was a drama teacher, I probably wouldn't do blackface. And the fact that you can't remember how many times you've done something like that is pretty ridiculous. Like somebody else said, you usually know what you've done for Halloween, but he's a drama teacher, he's dressed up a lot, but maybe just don't do things that are like completely controversial all the time. So how do you guys feel about that, the blackface and everything? You have an immediate reaction to it?
I just think Dragon Ball Z is the memes I've seen, so I don't really have much of a reaction.
That's very fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I really don't know much about it until you just told me, so that's, I guess, kind of confusing. I'd have to hear a little bit more research.
Turn my mic off? Okay. Well, there's not really that much to it. The one in 2001 is he was at the party and he was trying to be Aladdin. The other one was he was dressed in blackface singing a song on stage as like a performance. And the other one, he seemed to be at some sort of event. It's all part of like his being a drama teacher and a drama student back in the day. So I don't think he was particularly trying to be offensive, but obviously it is pretty offensive to a lot of people.
Well, it's one of those things where, generally speaking, someone who's trying to be a politician isn't going to go and do something that he knows is going to be offensive. So I have a feeling that there was no intention behind it. I kind of go by the feeling that, the intention is the root of where, any kind of issues are. So his intentions are probably okay, but I'm also a Trudeau supporter, so.
Very true, very true. So we wouldn't say that that makes him racist then, would we? Because we know like sort of his persona?
I would not say that.
I would agree.
I wouldn't say it would make him racist necessarily. I think that people's values should be judged on way more than just one incident, and considering he's our prime minister, we should be hearing his full side of the story too.
I would agree. So last question I'll ask you guys, as part of the whole like cancel culture people do and digging up people's pasts and try to get them fired or anything about that, is that something you think we should move away from?
I think it's important to know where people come from. Definitely follow up and see what their history is, but also don't jump to conclusions just because someone dressed up. So I've done stuff for Halloween that I can guarantee you offend a lot of people, but I hope that those things don't come out.
I think she's wondering what those were.
I know. Oh, I do know.
Oh, okay. We gotta move out of the way here. So yeah, I think I can think of examples like Kevin Hart, for example, his old tweets, and a bunch of people's old tweets where I think people should be held accountable as well. But I don't think necessarily people should be fired or missing their job for it. Okay, we're gonna continue. So anything else you guys wanted to add about that?
No.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day.
Cheers, thanks.
Thanks. It's a public space. I can record if I want. I'll keep it on the same thing. Public space. I'll record if I want.
Saying that we're not allowed to?
Yeah. It's not private property. So now we're being kicked off the campus, even though it's public. You can't tell me not what to do. It's also a single-party consent country, not just state. So let's go dipsy-doodle between the buildings, hopefully lose them. In conclusion today, a lot of people don't think he's racist. I agree with that. But yeah, silly thing to do. Not your best judgment, especially when your father is the prime minister and you are obviously planning on getting into politics in the future. So they're having a little conference over there about us. A little bit fascist, you guys. So now we're stepping over. Can't be getting people's opinions. When I cut back to me, it was hot today. Remember, this has been Andrew Says. Support independent YouTubers. You can support me on my Patreon. You can subscribe, you can like, you can share. And remember, do what I say, not as I do. It was too hot today. Let's move out.